In this video, I'm going to explain what Canada Disability Benefit Program is, how much can you get, what are the eligibility requirements to get that benefit, what are some of the income calculation, and I'll walk you through some scenario so that you can calculate how much benefit you can get. And finally, I will show you what are the steps that you need to take to get that benefit in 2025. The new Canada Disability Benefit of $2,400, which comes from the federal government, is targeted towards low-income family. Basically, this benefit is trying to reduce poverty and improve financial security. The benefit will start from July of 2025, but the benefit will be calculated based on your 2024 tax year's income. To qualify for this benefit, somebody has to be a Canadian tax resident and has to be within the age group of 18 to 64. The person must have a disability tax credit, which is a certificate from CRA that recognize that you have disability. This disability tax credit is a key to a lot of government benefits. So if somebody doesn't have this DTC tax credit, then they should apply to the CRA with the help of their medical professionals. I made a separate video on disability tax credit that goes through all the requirement and what's the process of getting a disability tax credit. The other requirement to get the CDB benefit is you have to have income level that is below the threshold amount. Now, before I go to the Canada Disability Benefit in details, I just want to quickly point out the disability tax credit program that you have to have first in order to get the CDB benefit. Basically, a disability tax credit is an application that you have to submit to CRA with outlining the details of your disability. A medical practitioner has to certify the type of disability that you have, and then you provide your personal information to CRA, and they will look at the application and determine whether you qualify or not based on the notes that medical professionals write on the application. Now, the DTC tax credit application can be challenging, and that's why there are few organizations that help people throughout Canada. Plan Institute is one of those organizations that provides help, and you can get that help from them with no charges. If you are a resident of British Columbia, then there is BC Disability Alliance, which also a non-profit organization that provides assistance to DTC tax credit applicants. Also, if you like to have a medical professional who is going to handle the application process, Benefits 2 is a for-profit company that provides that kind of service with a very low cost. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, but I found that these organizations does extremely good work for Canadians. No matter which organization you choose, make sure to avoid promoter companies that takes a percentage of your tax refund when your disability tax credit is approved by the CRA. Now, the first requirement for the CDB benefit is the residency requirement. You have to be one of these categories. Number 1 is a Canadian citizen. Number 2 is permanent resident. Number 3 is temporary resident who have lived in Canada for more than 18 months. Number 4 is anybody who is a protected person, meaning that somebody claimed a refugee or somebody who is an indigenous person. If you are helping somebody who cannot apply on behalf of them, then you can apply on behalf of that person as a representative. So as a representative, you would be applying for the application, and you will be able to communicate with the appropriate authority if your application gets denied. Now let's talk about how much is the benefit. The benefit amount is $2,400 annually or $200 monthly. This is a tax-free benefit. That means it does not affect your other income. You don't get any slips, or you don't have to include that income in your tax return. This benefit is indexed. That means it will go up every year with the inflation rate. And also, if you are receiving less than $20 a month benefit, then the CRA will send you a single check with all the payments for that year. Now let's take a look at the income restriction for this CDB benefit. When CRA calculates your CDB benefit, they look at your adjusted income. This adjusted income includes all kind of income that you report to CRA. They also look at your working income to calculate this benefit. Now, I will go deep a little bit between the difference between adjusted income and working income in the next slide. But basically, your working income is from any type of work that you do. Remember, if you have a RDSP account, which is Registered Disability Savings Plan, any withdrawal that you do from your RDSP ODSP plan is exempt from this calculation. Now, the benefit will be calculated based on the prior year's taxation, meaning that if you are submitting an application in 2025, the income amount that the CRA will use to determine your benefit will be the tax year 2024. So your payment will start from July 2025, but it will be based on the tax year 2024. And also the CDB payment will be based on whether you are a single or a couple. Now let's take a look at what is the adjusted income. So basically, when CRA looks at the adjusted income, it looks at if you are receiving any payment from your provincial government. For example, I live in Ontario, so there is ODSP payment that a lot of people receive. So that goes into the adjusted income category. If you are receiving guaranteed income supplement, that will also go into the adjusted income category. If you have some other income such as investment income, this will be also included in adjusted income. Now let's take a look at what is not included in the income. So if you are receiving any Canada Child Benefit, that will be excluded in the calculation. If you are part of any injury compensation from an insurance company, that will be also excluded from adjusted income. Now let's take a look at the calculation of Canada Disability Benefit. As you can see from the chart, if you are a single person, the maximum income you might have without affecting the disability benefit is $23,000. As soon as you cross that $23,000 mark, the government will start to claw back. And when your adjusted income crosses $35,000 threshold, then all the disability benefit will be gone. So as you can see, from $23,000 to $35,000 in the single person category, that is where the partial payments paid out. Whenever your income is over $35,000, then no disability benefit is paid out. If you are a couple where only one person is eligible for Canada Disability Benefit, then the exemption amount for adjusted income is $32,500. That means if your income is below that $32,500, then there will be no clawback for that Canada Disability Benefit of $2,400. But as soon as you cross that $32,500, the government will start to claw back. For every dollar you make, there will be 20 cents clawback. That means when your income crosses $44,500, that's where you do not get any more Canada Disability Benefit. Between $32,500 to $44,500, there is a partial payment that you will get, but as soon as you cross the $44,500 mark, you no longer receive any Canada Disability Benefit. And for a couple where both couples are eligible for Canada Disability Benefit, then the clawback rate is 10%. So as you can see from the chart, between $32,500 and $56,500, that's where the partial payment takes place. As soon as you cross as a couple $56,500, then there is no benefit paid out to that couple. So the bottom line is, if you have no working income, meaning that you don't work or you don't have any salary or self-employed income, the maximum income you can have to get the full CDB benefit is $23,000 as a single and $32,500 as a couple. As soon as you cross the phase out period, then you no longer receive any Canada Disability Benefit. Now let's have a look at an example. In this example, Elena is a single person and is 25 years old. She lives with her parents, but in this case, because she is an adult, it is her income that will be used to calculate the CDB benefit. No matter what happens to her parents, it doesn't affect her calculation. So she is receiving $10,000 from provincial assistant. It can be from any provincial assistants like ODSP, PWD, those kind of assistants. So her only income is $10,000. Now $10,000 is well below the $23,000 threshold that we just looked at. That means she qualifies for the full CDB benefit of $2,400. Because it is less than $23,000, there is no clawback or no reduction. Now, what if you have some working income, meaning that you have a part-time job, or you might have a full-time job or a business as a self-employed person? What happens to the CDB benefit if you have other income? Now, the government does not want to penalize you completely, and they gave you an exemption amount. So if you are a single person, that exemption amount is $10,000, meaning that the government will not claw back any money if your income is less than $10,000. If you are a couple, that amount is $14,000. Now let's take a look at our chart and see how that income affects the benefit. Now, as you can see, we still have the 23,000, 32,500 in the adjusted income category. That means these are your non-work income. And then there is exempt working income. That means if you are making $10,000, that is exempt from the calculation. So in total, a single person can have $33,000 of income, where 23,000 is from adjusted income and $10,000 is from working income. But as soon as they cross the $33,000 mark, the government starts to claw back at 20 cents every dollar. And while your income crosses $45,000, that's where you no longer qualify for any Canada Disability Benefit program. If you are a single with one spouse eligible for CDB benefit, your adjusted income exemption is $32,500, and you are eligible to earn a $14,000 income. So when you add these together, so the maximum income you might have is $46,500 without affecting your CDB benefit. But as soon as you cross that mark, then the government again will start clawing back 20 cents every dollar that you make. And 58,500 is the threshold where you no longer qualify for any CDB benefit. Now, if both couples are qualified for CDB benefit, as you can see, the maximum income that both can earn is again $46,500. But because both of them are qualified for CDB benefit, the reduction rate is reduced from 20% to 10%, and the phase-out income period is much higher, which is $70,500. And if you cross that mark, then you no longer qualify for CDB benefit for each of the spouse. Now let's take a look at some scenario where we included both working income and other adjusted income. Now in this example, Huynh is a single person making $35,000 and no other adjusted income. So all the income that Huynh makes is from working income. We already know there is a $10,000 exemption, so excluding that $10,000, our working income is $25,000, which is just $2,000 above the $23,000 exempt income. Now, because there is an excess income above the $20,000 mark, the government will claw back 20% of that $2,000, which is $400. So if you look at the reduction, that is the $400, that means Huynh will get only $2,000 annually from the CDB benefit. So Huynh's monthly income will be $167. Now let's take another example where Mariam makes $35,000 from total income. $5,000 is her earned income. That means she makes money from working income, and $30,000 is from workers' compensation. So we already know workers' compensation falls under the adjusted income category, and $5,000 goes into working income category. So if we add them together, in this case, $5,000 working income is well below the $10,000 threshold. So the excess amount that Mariam has is $7,000, which is $30,000 minus $23,000. In this case, Miriam makes $7,000 over the threshold, so the government will take 20% of that $7,000, which is a $1,400. So the $14,000 will be reduced from $2,400 to only $1,000, meaning that she will receive $83 a month. Now let's take a look at an example where only one partner is eligible for CDB benefit. Now in this example, Sam is disabled and earns around $48,000. His wife Rupinder does not earn any money, but she receives $7,000 in Canada Child Benefit. We already explained that Canada Child Benefit is not included as part of the income calculation, so we will exclude that $7,000 from the calculation. Now, out of the $48,000, we know that only $14,000 working income is exempt. That means if we take $48,000 and reduce it by $14,000, we get a point of $34,000. Now, the threshold for a couple is $32,500. That means Sam made $1,500 compared to the threshold amount. So the government will charge 20% clawback on that $1,500, which is $300 reduction from the $2,400. So the total benefit that Sam will get is $2,100, which is $175 a month. Now the last example is basically a scenario where both couples qualify for CDB benefit, meaning that both of them are disabled. And in this example, Donna and Lucia makes $27,000 each, so their combined income from employment and self-employment is $54,000. So we already know $14,000 is exempt. That means their total income is $40,000. Their total income is $40,000, which is $7,500 over the $32,500 limit. Because both of them are disabled, the clawback rate is only 10%, not the usual 20%. So they will see a reduction of $750 from their $2,400 payment. So each of them will receive $1,650 annually or $138 monthly. Now, there is a big concern among the advocate in the disability space is what if these new benefit reduce other provincial benefit? So far, from all the provinces and territories, 7 of them confirmed that they will not claw back their provincial benefits. These provinces are British Columbia, Manitoba, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Nunavut, Quebec, and Saskatchewan. The only provinces that say that they are going to claw back their provincial benefit is Alberta. Now, there is a lot of debate going on right now. I'm recording this video in April 2025, so by the time you watch this video, these rules might have changed. But as of today, only provinces that say they're going to claw back the benefit is Alberta. The rest of the provinces and territories haven't decided whether they will implement a clawback or not. Now that you understand the Canada Disability Benefit, what's the next step? The next step is to apply for this benefit as soon as the application window opens. So you have to have your social insurance number, which most people have. You must file your tax for 2024, and you must have a disability tax credit or DTC application approved to qualify for the CDB benefit. Now, the new Canada Disability Benefit Program became a law in 2024. So if you are applying for an application, the government will retroactively pay up to 24 months. So make sure to apply on time so that the government can calculate your disability benefit and pay you the monthly amount. Now, as you can see from the timeline, the first payment will start from July 2025, and this will be based on the tax year 2024. That means the income will be calculated based on the tax year 2024. So the yearly program will start from July 2025, and it will continue to pay until June 2026. And the following year, the calculation will be based on the tax year 2025, and the payment will start from July 2026, and so on and so forth. If you are receiving any other government benefits, typically those run from July to June. The new CDB program will just follow the schedule of those other payments. Now, this program is very new, so a lot of people actually don't know about the Canada Disability Benefit Program. So if you know somebody who might benefit from this video, please share with them. Also, this program is the first starting point for the government to help the low-income disabled people. While this amount might not be enough, many disability advocates say that the amount that the government is giving is very insufficient compared to today's living cost. The government actually acknowledged that, but I don't know the extent of how much this benefit will actually help the Canadians. But even if it's not a significant amount, it is something to start with. So I hope the government will consider more money for low-income disabled people so that they can afford a better life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to know more financial planning topic on disability, please subscribe to this channel and ask your questions so we can make videos on your questions. See you in the next video.